Hi everyone, and welcome to English Digest. I'm Pat.
I'm Leah.
And today we're going to take a look at a very controversial issue in our two-day article. It's about the use of cannabis and how it is classified around the world. So we should probably say straight off, neither we as speakers or the company or the magazine is supporting or endorsing any particular view here.
Right.
What we want to do is just try and present you guys with just the facts so you get an idea of why there is this discussion, what are the sides of the discussion, and what are the important facts to consider.
And with the sides of a discussion, then you're talking about a discourse, right? You're talking about what both sides are kind of saying about this topic. And this is a global topic that we are going to be discussing. It's not just something that is a topic of discussion in Taiwan. It's something that all around the world we're talking about.
Exactly. And really, if you're going to be in a discourse like that, the most important thing you can do is arm yourself with all the necessary facts, so that you can appreciate both sides of the argument, see where both sides are coming from, and then you can use that to make up your own mind.
Right.
So without any further ado then, let's get into day one and read through the first part of our article on the global cannabis use discourse. Celebrities in Taiwan often find themselves in the media spotlight for using cannabis, also known as marijuana or weed. From being arrested for possession of it to being photographed in the act of smoking it, these incidents generate unfavorable publicity and spark vigorous public debate, leading to puzzling questions. Why does such conduct lead to controversy? Should Taiwan follow other countries' example and legalize cannabis? To grasp the debate, it's crucial to comprehend the nature of cannabis itself. The plant contains two primary compounds consumed by humans, CBD, cannabidiol, and THC, tetrahydrocannabinol. CBD has no mind-altering effects and is utilized for its potential therapeutic properties, such as pain relief and anxiety reduction. On the other hand, THC is the component responsible for the high. Though THC can also offer medical benefits, it's associated with negative effects like memory loss and errors in judgment. The double-edged nature of cannabis compounds stimulates the ongoing discussion and results in varying perspectives on cannabis use. Faced with this challenge, Taiwan is taking a strict approach. Its law dictates that anyone caught manufacturing, possessing, selling, or transporting cannabis will incur severe penalties, with cannabis classified as a Category 2 drug under the Narcotics Hazard Prevention Act. This classification places cannabis alongside substances like amphetamine and coca, indicating a high potential for abuse, but less danger than Category 1 drugs such as heroin. It is worth mentioning that an announcement issued by Taiwan's Ministry of Health and Welfare in 2020 admits the potential medical benefits of cannabis. It clarified that it is legal to use CBD products with less than 0.001% THC, provided they're prescribed by a doctor. However, these strict conditions make it difficult for those in need to obtain CBD products.
So celebrities in Taiwan, we see as we start out, often find themselves in the media spotlight for using cannabis, also known as marijuana or weed. Celebrities are people that are famous, whether they're famous because they're on TV or they're famous because you've seen them in movies or they're musicians. And they often find themselves in the media spotlight. If you're in the media spotlight, well, you're either on the news or you're in the newspapers or people are, making videos of you. That is the media spotlight. The spotlight is like when you are on the stage and you are performing in a play. then there is a spotlight that will shine on you and bring light to where you're standing. And it's in one spot. It's not the whole stage that it's lighting up. It's lighting up a single spot. But oftentimes, if you're in a spotlight, then it means there's a lot of focus on you. So if you're in the media spotlight, there's a lot of focus on you and what you're doing. Here it's for using cannabis or smoking cannabis or something along those lines. And cannabis is also known as marijuana or weed. And there are a lot of other names for cannabis.
That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of slang around the use of it. So I'm sure you'll go if you need to go and find them out, you can find them out. But we'll just look at these two. So from being arrested for possession of it, in other words, they've been carrying it and they've been searched and caught it, to being photographed in the act of smoking it, likely just, privately on somebody's phone and the photos get out, that kind of thing.
Yeah, probably.
These incidents generate unfavorable publicity. Certainly in Taiwan, people are criticized a lot if they're caught doing this. And it sparks vigorous public debate leading to puzzling questions. Vigorous means energetic, but it can also mean of quite forceful language. This is one of those issues that isn't one where many people will just kind of go shrug, like, whatever, I don't have a strong feeling either way. A lot of people will come out very strongly in favor of or very strongly against cannabis use. Some people will be saying, hey, what's the deal? Why is it such a big fuss? It's nothing really big. And others will be, this is terrible, you can't do this, you're a famous person, you're a role model, you shouldn't tell kids that drugs are okay, that kind of thing. So that's why it's vigorous public debate. People will get pretty heated, there'll be some pretty hot exchanges on social media and on talk shows, that kind of thing.
You can use vigorous also when you talk about doing vigorous exercise. If you're doing like a hard exercise where you're breathing quite heavily, that might be considered vigorous exercise. Or you can make whipped cream at home by taking cream and whipping it vigorously, L-Y on the end, right? And that just means to beat it really quickly until it turns into whipped cream.
And we use spark here, the verb spark, because it tends to kind of grow up like a fire. To spark a fire would mean to make it catch fire with a little spark. So yeah, when an incident like this happens, it often leads to a very quick blow-up of a lot of people talking about it, arguing about it, and so on.
Right, and it's also leading to puzzling questions. What's one of these questions? Well, one is, why does such conduct lead to controversy? Why does such conduct? Conduct is behavior, how you act, how you conduct yourself, if you want to use the verb form of it, right? Conduct, conduct. Well, how does this behavior lead to controversy, to problems, to arguments, to disagreements, to people having strong opinions? Why? Another question is, should Taiwan follow other countries' example and legalize cannabis? Well, that's a question that comes up through this vigorous public debate. These are two of the questions that have come up as a result of it. Should we in Taiwan have follow other countries, do what other countries are doing, and legalize cannabis? And it's a discussion, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I know a lot of states in the US have, but not all of them. Canada mostly has. We'll get to Canada in day 2.
Yeah, we'll mention the states too, I think, when we get to day 2 as well.
So, to grasp the debate or to understand what this discussion is about, that's what we mean here with grasp. It's grasp something mentally, meaning to properly understand it. It's crucial, it's very important to comprehend, to understand the nature of cannabis itself, okay? So cannabis is, in its basic form, a plant. It's just grown up. It's got those kind of very distinctive shaped leaves on it.
That lots of people end up wearing on their clothes or on their hats and things like that.
And in the past, people would just they would kind of dry out the leaves. They would maybe smoke the leaves. They would do stuff with it. But if you look at it from a scientific point of view, we're saying this plant and its leaves contains 2 primary compounds consumed or eaten or put into our bodies by humans. A compound is a combination of a bunch of different elements.
Right.
The most basic compound is H2O, water, a
2
combination
hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom mixed
or
together.
CO2, 2 oxygen and 1 carbon. And these are very complex compounds. They've got a whole large structure and a bunch of different things and bonds and rings in it.
And fun pronunciations.
Yeah.
So you got CBD with cannabidiol, I think is the way you say it, and THC with tetrahydrocannabinol, which is so weird. Why does it suddenly go from cannabidiol to cannabinol?
I'm not sure. I know tetrahydro means it's got 4 hydrogen atoms or ions onto it, but the rest of it, IOL is often some form of alcohol on it, which means it's got an oxygen-hydrogen group. But we're not diving into the science too much here. We just need to know there are these 2 things, CBD and THC, because that's what's at the heart of the discussion.
Exactly.
CBD has no mind-altering effects. It doesn't change how your mind's working. It doesn't relax you a load. It doesn't really... it doesn't give you strange ideas or thoughts or cool dreams or make people laugh a lot. That's not what this part does. CBD is utilized for its potential therapeutic properties. Therapeutic means kind of the same as medical. It's related to the word therapy. If you're getting therapy, you're getting some kind of treatment, whether that's medicine, whether that's massages and physical stuff, whether that's like mental therapy, talking to somebody, doing mental exercises.
Therapeutic actions are done to treat disorders or diseases most of the time.
And so CBD can be used as pain relief, like painkillers like acetaminophen and ibuprofen, just painkiller stuff.
For arthritis even a lot of times and stuff like that.
Yeah, and anxiety reduction. So it can mildly relax you if it's in the right amount. It can make you feel a little bit less anxious if you suffer from anxiety attacks, panic attacks, and that sort of thing.
And CBD is actually the one that is connected more with its medical. It is the one that's connected more with its medical use, and also for treatment for animals as well when they are dealing with pain and things like that. It's been brought to the front as one thing that can be used to help animals with their pain or if they're dealing with cancer or something along these lines.
On the other hand, THC is the component responsible for the high. So this is the part of the drugs that people will take because they're drugs, because they enjoy the feeling of being high, this kind of slightly amused, people tend to laugh a lot, people tend to chill out and relax a great deal or suddenly get hungry. That is the high that people feel. The same effect as if you drank a lot of alcohol or did various other things. It's this heightened sensory experience, temporary one that you get.
And though THC can also offer medical benefits, it's more commonly associated or connected with negative effects like memory loss or errors in judgment. So it's more connected to the negative effects that you get maybe after the high. A lot of people say if they do feel that high, they might feel this sense of paranoia. And so that would be one of the negative effects, or memory loss. You don't remember what you did last night or 3 days ago. These would be memory loss if you can't remember things. And errors in judgment. Maybe you suddenly think that you're much better at sports than you normally are, and your error in judgment might cause you to kick something or pick something up that's really heavy and pull your back muscles.
So CBD, kind of good, THC, mostly bad, which makes it double-edged. Double-edged is any kind of thing that cuts both ways. It can be good, it can be bad. You can use it as a tool. It could also be a weapon. Like pretty much any medicine, if you take too much of it, it becomes a poison.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's double-edged. And the double-edged nature of these 2 compounds, CBD and THC, stimulates or causes and kind of gives energy to the ongoing discussion and results in varying perspectives on cannabis use. So it's because cannabis can both help medically, but also kind of make people high and also affect their memory and other things like that and their brains. That's why there are all these big discussions, these big debates, and lots of different ideas and perspectives and opinions on its use. Now, we'll get into these in just a moment, but first we're going to hand over to our Chinese teacher.
听众朋友大家好，我是 Anna。我们今天要带大家看一个比较严肃的议题。不晓得大家有没有在美剧当中听过 marijuana？marijuana 就是大麻，对不对？ 然后呢，我们今天要看的，对，的确就是大麻。这个大麻啊，有一些国家是合法，像在台湾是不合法。那到底抽大麻真的是吸毒吗？还是它是不是人体有时候在健康或者是医疗是的确有一些效用呢？所以我们今天要来了解一下这个所谓的大麻全球观，有关它的争议，还有甚至其他国家的做法。不过我们在这个 title 这边啊，可以先稍微停留一下。这个 title 告诉我们 Understanding the Global Cannabis Use Discourse。 当然这个大麻我们英文叫做 cannabis， 我们刚刚讲的 marijuana 是一个西班牙文引用过来的。那后面的这个 discourse， 如果是以语言学或者是教语文的老师，我们都知道 discourse 就是所谓的上下文结构的意思。但是其实啊，它指的就是一种所谓的争议，一种长期以来很严肃的一种我们大家要做的一个讨论，不管是在演说上或写作上啊，这种的所谓的讨论就可以叫做 discourse。 像我们今天跟明天的这2天针对于大麻的讨论就是一种 discourse。 那为什么台湾会开始知道大麻？除了我们看美剧之外，现在有一些名人也是因为使用大麻，然后就被媒体爆出来啊。在第一段的第1句，这些名人啊 celebrities in Taiwan 就让自己成为镁光灯的焦点了。在第1句当中，我们可以把那个 the media spotlight 把它画出来。这个 spotlight 就是镁光灯焦点的意思，有没有？大家都会去注意它。所以有时候因为吸毒啊、吸大麻等等，就变成大家都关注。那当然这个吸食的行为在台湾就觉得是吸毒是不对的。不过到底为什么会有人觉得大麻应该要除罪化，甚至大麻应该要合法化？为什么会引起争议呢？然后我们台湾是不是应该要将大麻除罪甚至合法化呢？这个是在第1段最后面提出来的2个问题。那我们之前也曾经说过，文章其实在一开始引入的第1段通常会提问，例如他可能一开始就提问 Have you ever heard of， 你曾经听过什么吗？或者是像这种比较严肃的话题，我们可能会先稍微铺陈一下，引入一下有这个我们都知道名人可能吸毒啊等等之类的。但是为什么会引起争议呢？我们是不是应该要合法它呢？我们在第1段的第3句这个地方 why 为什么这样子的一个 conduct， 这个单字啊 conduct 是行为，但是这个行为跟刚才第1段第2句当中有一个 act， 因为被拍到有吸大麻这件事情嘛， the act of smoking it， 这2个行为不太一样。所谓的 conduct 是指的是一个完整就吸大麻这件事。那刚刚提到第1段第2句的 act， 其实我们可以从 actor 演员这个字去想。演员呢，他会做一些动作，每一幕当中他会用一些不同精致的动作来表现出他要演的这个概念。那 act 其实也有一个动作的意思，因为拍到吸大麻的那个画面嘛，那就会用 act 这个字。好，那接下来还有很重要的就是第1段最后面这个动词啊 legalize， legal 是合法的，如果我们把形容词后面加上 ize 就会变成使什么什么东西如何如何，例如 legalize 就会变成及物动词，使什么东西合法化。所以接下来第2段开始就是重点咯，我们要先了解一下到底大麻是什么东西，才能知道为什么会引起争议嘛。在第2段的第1句直接告诉我们一个主题， To grasp the debate, it's crucial to comprehend the nature of cannabis itself。 好，我们首先注意一下，它是一个虚主词的句型。这个虚主词的句型的虚主词是 it， 真主词只有2种样子，一 to do something， 2 that 子句。在这里我们看到的真主词是 to comprehend， 一直到句尾的地方。而在这整篇文章当中，我们在最后一段第3段还会看到3个虚主词的句型跟这里是一样的。可是在这句当中啊，因为我们提到在这整篇文章今天跟明天，因为是一个比较严肃的、比较正规的、比较一个严肃的讨论，所以在用词上也不同。例如我们要了解大麻的本质，这个了解在这里就用 comprehend 而不是用 understand。好，那这个了解大麻的本质什么本质呢？ 在第二段很重要，我们把第二句当中提到的 CBD 跟 THC 这边抓出来，那我们就可想见啦，接下来文章一定会告诉我们 CBD 是什么， THC 是什么，所以我们特别注意一下第二段第4句的地方，一开始 on the other hand， 而另外一方面，我们在第二段一定会介绍 CBD 是什么，而另外一方面呢 THC 又是什么，所以当我们要介绍几乎是同种类的东西，可是好像不太一样有点对比对照的感觉。首先看 CBD， 那接着我们来看 THC， 当然这是一种流动说明的感觉，可是其实 THC 跟 CBD 是不同的，所以它用的 on the other hand， 然而在另外一方面。那 CBD 是怎么样呢？基本上它就是有一些治疗的疗效，例如在第3句最后面出现的 pain relief， 它可以作为疼痛的解除， and anxiety reduction， 可以减缓焦虑，几乎没有什么特别的副作用，因为它不会去改变我们的心智。那另外一方面呢 THC 它则是会有一些副作用出现在第二段第5句的地方，有没有找到这里的 negative effects？ 这副作用是什么呢？像是 memory loss， 会失去记忆耶， errors in judgment， 甚至会判断错误。所以当大家在吸大麻的时候，当吸大麻的不管是病患或者是吸毒者，当他吸进了 THC 的时候，对身体是有危害的。所以就是因为这样子的一个本质，所以大家才会开始讨论到底该怎么办。
We'll take a short break and we'll be right back with part 2.
So we're back in and we're looking at this next paragraph as it starts out. Faced with this challenge, what's that referring to? Well, the challenge of the double-edged nature of THC and CBD being seen as good and bad. Faced with that challenge, with that difficulty, Taiwan is taking a strict approach. So Taiwan says, we're going to go about this slowly. We're going to figure out what we want to do, and we're going to be a little bit strict. So we're not going to immediately say, yes, you can do everything you want. We're going to be very careful, and we're going to be very conservative about this. So its law, Taiwan's law, says that anyone caught manufacturing, making, possessing, holding or owning, selling, or transporting, moving from one place to another is to transport cannabis. If you're doing any of these things with cannabis, then that will bring about or cause to happen severe penalties. So that will bring about severe penalties, legal penalties, either jail time or a high financial loss there. And so the reason why they're doing that is that cannabis is classified as a Category 2 drug under the Narcotics Hazard Prevention Act.
So narcotics is any kind of mostly mind-altering medicines and drugs.
Right.
So mostly when people use it, they mean drugs, but a lot of medicines are also narcotics in a way in how they're used. I'll just go back to that word incur. Incur is almost always something unwelcome or negative. You never incur a reward.
No,
you always
don't.
incur punishment of
Yes.
some kind. And it's the result of something you did.
Right.
Like you did something and therefore it's your fault.
You have caused it to happen to yourself.
Yeah, you don't incur an accident, but you would incur a penalty if you forgot to do something or did it wrong and so on.
Exactly.
So we got narcotics, these are drugs. Hazards are dangers. So Narcotics Hazard Prevention Act basically this is the name of the law that gives all its rules about what drugs are what, how are they categorized, what are the punishments for doing different things like selling or buying or using or holding or growing all of these different kinds of drugs.
Right.
So they've named marijuana, cannabis, a Category 2 drug, which is, I'm pretty sure it's higher than it is in the UK currently.
Right.
I think in the UK it's down at the bottom, and in the US in parts it's just legal.
Yeah.
So we say this classification places cannabis alongside substances like amphetamine and coca.
Which are pretty strong narcotics.
Right.
Amphetamine is a stimulant that stimulates something that wakes you up, raises, stimulates your central nervous system, but it can take it too far.
Mm-hmm.
It is something that is often abused, and historically it was used as like an appetite suppressant, but it's something that is going to not make you go to sleep. That's for sure. And coca then are as a plant, I think mostly Central South American.
Yeah, it grows up in the mountains.
And or the leaves, which contain the alkaloid cocaine. And so coca is equal to what you get cocaine from, really.
Yeah. So I had to check this out because cocaine is category 1. The white powder that people use as a drug is category 1.
The coca leaves
are just category 2.
Okay.
You can, and I've done research on this for something completely different, but people up in the mountains in South America and Central America, they will chew the leaves and kind of keep them in their mouth. Yeah, exactly like betel nut, and it's a stimulant in that way. But it's not, you'd have to chew a lot for a long time, whereas if you refine it into the powder, that's where you get the cocaine, which is category 1.
But the reason why these are category 2 is that they have a potential for abuse or addiction.
Yes.
But they're not as high. It indicates a high potential, a high possibility for abuse. So to use it too much or to get addicted to it, but less danger than category 1 drugs such as heroin.
Yeah, heroin is a very addictive, pain-killing drug. It comes from a chemical called morphine, and people use it as a drug because it kind of makes them see all kinds of strange things and have very odd experiences. But yeah, one of the most dangerous addictive drugs out there.
Right, and it is worth mentioning that an announcement issued by Taiwan's Ministry of Health and Welfare in 2020 admits the potential medical benefits of cannabis. So you can tell from everything we've been talking about so far that this is a very complicated topic. There are good sides and bad sides that we see being discussed about elements of cannabis, but it's also listed as a very, very likely that you will abuse drug. You will not just try it one time and go, okay, I'm done. You're likely to use it too much. So Taiwan, with its stricter regulation, is making sure that they tell you this is a dangerous thing and you need to be careful. However, we also see a literal government body in Taiwan, the Ministry of Health and Welfare, says the potential medical benefits of cannabis do exist. They see that there are possible medical benefits.
And because of that, we're using it here to talk about the ministry, clarified that it is legal to use CBD products. So that's ones made from the kind of, I suppose, good compound in cannabis with less than 0.001% THC, the bad compound in cannabis, provided they're prescribed by a doctor.
Right.
So in other words, you can't just go out into a Watson's or a Cosmed and buy this stuff. It has to be doctor prescribed only.
Right.
If a doctor prescribes it, they write out a note, they put their name on it, they sign it, and they say, take this to a pharmacy, and they will check it to make sure, yes, you can have this. Show me your health card, make sure it's all good.
And that note is a prescription.
Yeah.
So that's the noun there.
Yeah. One quick note, there is a similar word which is prescribe, where it's P-R-O, scribe, which has the almost completely opposite meaning. If something is prescribed with an O, that means it's completely banned. It's not allowed. But they do sound the same, prescribed.
English.
So be careful about the spelling. If it's prescribed with a the doctor has written a note for you to get it. If it's proscribed, then it's banned.
And since this is something that is only doctor prescribed, coming back into our article, we see that it says, however, these strict conditions make it difficult for those in need to obtain CBD products. Those in need might be people who need it as a pain relief or for other medical reasons. They might want the CBD products, and it might be very difficult for them to get that because of the strict conditions or strict rules that are put on whether or not a doctor will prescribe this.
So day one, therefore, we've reached the end of day one, and it's kind of taken a look at a bit more of the science side of what the compounds in cannabis do, and looked at Taiwan's current laws for it. Now, we said this is a global discourse, so in day two, we're going to look at some of the different points of view seen around the world and what different countries have done in terms of cannabis's legal status. Right now, though, we'll hand over one more time to our Chinese teacher before we wrap things up for today.
接下来的第三段的第一句，我们特别注意，它是一个分词构句哦。我们说过 ing 型或者是 pp 开头的，这个没有主词出现的突然的 ing 或者是 pp， 它主词就会藏在逗点之后。Taiwan， 台湾就是一个比较严格的状态。台湾面临这样子的一个挑战，那这个面临就很特别啦，因为你可以直接用及物动词的 face something, face someone， 或者 face 也有使面对的意思，所以在这里其实是 be faced with something， 面临了什么东西 be ing 直接省略掉。那最后面在第三段第一句的 approach， 它其实就是一种方法的意思。那你说老师方法为什么不用 method？ 因为approach 它其实是一个比较大的、比较完整、长时间针对一个比较大议题或是一门学问或一种研讨所采取什么样的一种方法、一种教学法，那时候的法才会用 approach。那当我们都知道毒品危害防治条例都是你只要是有制造、持有、运输啊、销售大麻都是非常严格，因为大麻是归成第2级的毒品。好，我们来看第三段第2句哦。Category 2 drug， 这个第2级的毒品的意思就是说，它是次于第1级。第1级就是很毒的，像哪些呢？同样在这一段的第3句有提到，这个海洛因，这就是1级毒品。所以在这样子的分类当中啊，我们如果真的要把大麻合法除罪化，就会相当的困难。我们刚刚在一开始的时候曾经有说过，在最后一段第4句跟第5句这里的 it 都是虚主词哦，特别注意第5句虚主词有2个 ，it is clarified， 这件事被澄清了。后面的 that 到句尾是真主词，可是真主词这个 that 的子句当中又包含着一个 it is legal to use CBD products， 这里的 it 又是一个虚主词。那希望今天大家对于大麻有一个粗浅的认知，我们明天会带大家看看在其他国家的做法。我是安娜，我们明天见。
So that does bring us to the end of the first day of the article, kind of introducing this discourse, this debate about cannabis use. Join us again tomorrow for part 2, where we're going to look at some more of the legal possibilities and a few more of the different opinions that people are putting forward about cannabis use. Join us for that tomorrow. Bye for now.